Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is your boy James Hines from Gen Invasion.
And your boy Charles.
And we're going to be doing our review of Pirates of the Caribbean.
Dead Men Tell No Tales.
Yeah, so we just came from it, y'all, so this is fresh in our brain. You want to start? I'm going to start.
Okay. Overall, it's good for what it was. I felt it wraps up the whole series. If this is the last one, this would be a good way to wrap it up, I believe. They all have, it goes the same, routine or set as most of the other Pirates of the Caribbean movies start with now. Have, the betrayals, or they're not really betrayals, the catchy, flashy, entertaining chase scenes involving Jack and everything, and those seem to get wilder and more outlandish and crazy.
Yeah.
Of course, the main quest with the supporting characters, we had the character Henry and Corina. Corina, yeah. How their stories tied in, and it's interesting how they did that, and it kind of leads full circle. Then, everybody needs Jack.
Yeah.
But, that's William Turner's and Elizabeth Swann's son, Henry, and he's on his quest to free his father of the
Curse of the Sea.
Yeah,
Apparently
the Flying Dutchman.
Yeah, he was on the Flying Dutchman, the curse of that. His part in the story, from young child all the way to older child, is literally lifting the curse from his father. So they pretty much did two intros. One covered a little backstory on Henry's character, and then it jumps 9 years later. And 9 years later, there was so much going on that it was just it felt like there was a story transition there, but it was a lot of randomness. So we don't know where this area is. I just want to say it's a territory of England for the Queen or something like that.
Oh yeah, it was.
And
in London somewhere.
There was a big group going on, this announcement of, the first bank, something of Sir James or Sir William or something like that.
Something.
Anyway, they talked about this vault, or how it's going to hold all the gold and all this other stuff. Just to find out when they open it, lo and behold, who's there?
Yeah, it's the or not so flashy introduction of a drunken, sleeping Jack Sparrow. And that's one thing I noticed in this. The whole where Jack is in this moment, he's kind of at his end, really. He's just just always more drunken than usual.
Always incapacitated.
Yeah, and I felt for his character, it felt Jack usually has some type of purpose in every other Pirates of the Caribbean movie. Here, something he was driving towards, and here it really didn't feel that way. He was just up to his usual stuff and everything, but it felt like that big adventure that he would usually go for. It wasn't there. It was something was missing from this one.
Yeah, it felt like they took his character more as a joke character. And in a lot of ways, he didn't feel like the main character for this one. In all the Pirates of the Caribbean, especially the first two, it felt like it kept wanting to come full circle earlier than what it needed to be. He was always drunk. Certain items or whatever from the old one or from the older movies, like the compass.
Yeah.
He was supposed to hold that for dear life. He was getting rid of it and all this other stuff going on. Now, in that particular part, you actually get introduced to a few other characters. So one of the first characters that you get introduced to, and her name is Chaos Spladario. I'm going to be butchering a lot of these names, y'all. I'm sorry. But she's the young lady that plays Corina Smith in the movie. And she plays a really good... She played a supporting role and somewhat of a lead role. Her character is thought of as a witch, but she's very much so a woman of science. And that's how she was either taught or that's what she ended up progressing towards, all based off of a little diary that she got from her father.
There's a drawback, of course, with her character, like a lady or a woman of science. It was hard for her to believe about, basically any other, like she's seen none of the other Pirates of the Caribbean movies, like understandably, but like she didn't believe in ghosts or stories of
mysticism,
the stories of the Kraken, or
she was very much so
Blackbeard.
Yeah, she was very much so, like I said, a woman of science. In fact, the two things she said she was an astronomer and a horologist, which were made fun of royally in this movie.
The comedy aspect, it was there. It felt like some parts were going to be cheesy, but their deliveries kind of like sold it, like, especially with Johnny Depp, like Jack Sparrow.
Yeah, now, the part that we need to get to, and it was actually in the beginning, somewhat the beginning, not the very beginning, but it was the beginning of the movie, is the two people that played the villains, or one was anti-hero and the villain. And the main villain was Javier Bardem, who also played as Captain Salazar.
AKA the bad guy in every movie.
Yeah.
Keith Savarin.
He did an amazing job. Like, the CG was on point with the whole cast and the crew that he had in it, from the undead. You even get his origin, his backstory on why he hates Jack Sparrow so much, which was really cool. He
seemed like a badder dude in his backstory than where he wasn't then.
Yeah. Like, it was actually like, okay, so the way they explain his character, because we already know from the trailer that he tells teenage or young adult Henry that he always leaves one person alive to tell the tale. Because dead men tell no tales. And so Henry was going off telling people he seen ghosts and everything. They thought he was a little crazy and everything else. But Scarfield, we can't forget about him. Scarfield, which is David Wenham, really good actor. He also was in Iron Fist. But stand away from that point. They gave him a lot of short roles in this movie. Like, they didn't want to make him irrelevant, even though he was kind of irrelevant in the movie.
The way
they wrote him, he just had one-liners.
He died.
Yeah.
And the way it was all of a sudden, just like that. It was, he had nothing major to do with the story at all.
Like, he actually made Henry's sentence worse, actually.
It just served his purpose, and then literally...
And that was Scarfield, David Wenham's character. Like, irrelevant through the whole movie. You know, he had some bits and pieces here that helped push it a little bit for a purpose. So his little roles had purpose, but in the end, he was cannon fodder. But it served a purpose because it was all about Javier Bardem, or Captain Salazar. Yeah. This movie was heavily around Captain Salazar, as well as the myth of Poseidon's Trident.
That's one thing I was looking for. I was looking for, the big item, or which was like bring all these characters together. With all their stories and everything, the main problem I would say I had with the movie is that everything was very convenient. Like from the beginning. Yeah. Henry was, he knew he was on that ship where they were going into
Devil's Cove or Dead Man's Cove or something like that.
Yeah, they were going to,
which was the cursed place that Captain Salazar was actually stuck at because of Jack Sparrow.
I felt the movie was long. I felt a lot of
2 hours and 15 minutes.
I felt a lot of parts of the movie could have been shorter, especially to have more explanation to parts to bring the story together.
Now they did have a little funny scene where Jack Sparrow ends up saying, "What was that little funny point? When the British asked him or whatever, how would you like to die? Would you like to go by hanging, firing squad, or our new one, the guillotine?" And he was like, "Guillotine. Sounds French. You know, the French made mayonnaise. Like like the part." Johnny Depp did a really good part on the random. Like Jack Sparrow's character was just funny throughout the whole movie.
Yeah, I'm glad. Like that's pretty much what people come to see with the Pirates movies.
Is Johnny Depp.
If you want to see the Jack Sparrow be Jack Sparrow, Johnny Depp be Black Sparrow, it was.
Yeah, he did his thing. So Barbossa in this one actually. He became king of the pirates or king of the seas. I can't remember which one, but he had the largest crew, the most ships as far as the fleet, jewels, everything. Like when they showed his ship and they showed the people in there, like he had gold laced chairs, like everything was laced in gold and food. Like I guess that's pirates' two main things is gold and food, like you've seen some, and rum. He ended up going to a real witch that was in the story, and she didn't have very many parts. I think she might have had 2 or 3 scenes, and oh man, I can't pronounce her real name. She did a really good job as a witch, and I would love to see her in other movies that have mysticism in it, but it's Haifa Mini, I want to say. And that's probably the closest I'm going to get, y'all, to that one. But she played a real witch. She knew what people were thinking or what they wanted to say or whatever else. And she dealt in blood. Like, if you wanted help...
Blood magic, yeah.
Yeah, it dealt in blood.
And also, like, to fast forward a little, she sends... Barbossa on the quest, basically saying you had to find Jack to save your fleet and save yourself.
And the Trident.
Yeah, and the Trident. Like she kind of is a device to bring Barbossa in, like fills him in of all the information that he needs, and then sends him on his way.
Now, one part I will tell you about this, y'all, is that there is a main story, but it feels like it changes a lot. Like at one point it's all about finding Jack Sparrow. Okay, you find Jack Sparrow. End of one plot. Then it's you're looking for the Trident. There's one other spot. Like
basically, it's like you're playing a video game. Let's say like a role-playing game. You have your main objective, but then all these side quests start spawning up and everything, which is...
And it almost felt like it lost track of the main story almost.
It did, and I felt it felt like there was a lot of information they were trying to give out, and characters like the witch and everything were there to help bring characters together and speed it along. And it all ends up wrapping together at the end.
If you've watched all the movies at the movies, it's a good continuation. It's a good ending sequel, ending 5-parter. But for me, this is a definite watch on TV and a possible collector's DVD. But
if you have
the other ones,
just finish the set.
But as far as just I want to see a movie, let's go see Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man Tells No Tales. Honestly, it's if you've seen the other ones, that's what I'll leave it at for
me. As a movie standalone by itself, It does stand alone in a bit. It does bring like a kind of a feeling of the first Pirates of the Caribbean, how William met Elizabeth and their story tied in. It was kind of a when Henry met Karina type of thing, and Jack is just there. Jack isn't as involved in the relationship between Henry and Karina, but it's some interesting and entertaining exchanges. Not as much as the first Pirates.
So from a story plot, climactic to anticlimactic, where would you put it at? I'd give it a solid 7 as a continuation movie.
Yeah, because it's a continuation movie, it does rank higher for me as well. But I feel all the nature of the movie being so convenient that things happen.
5, maybe?
Probably, yeah.
Standalone 5?
Yeah, and also predictability with things like when you added that, when they put in that, which honestly, they honestly didn't need to, but I guess it was kind of a send-off for the Barbossa character. They didn't need to make Karina his daughter. I felt,
yeah.
I mean, maybe they could have a connection, maybe not, but that part didn't feel necessary.
That's true.
But yeah, because of all the convenient things that happen and kind of the cliche sacrifice ending stuff like that, and but I'll give it instead of a 5, I give it a 6. A 6 because of Captain Sansa.
Okay.
Because he did a great job. He played a great villain for what it was. It was like part of the movie was, you had your classic cheesy Pirates of the Caribbean stuff with the chase scenes and stuff like that. Then you had, if you look at the movie from the standpoint of the villain, where he's coming and his actions through it, up until the ending. Up until the ending, he could have handled that quickly. But from his pursuit and his story and just simple, pirates killed my father and his father before him, so I'm killing all pirates.
Okay.
And so from that, it was just simple and ruthless. So I give it a point up for the villain.
Okay, so you got our review, guys. This is all the time we have. Please leave a like, comment. If you like the movie, let us know. Subscribe, hit the bell because we're always going to be trying to put out content. But this is James Hines from J Invasion signing off.
And this is Charles. See you soon.
Peace.
Peace.